Hello everyone, and you're welcome to Addie's Chat. My name is Adiola. Most people call me Addie. You are welcome. If this is your first time, thank you so much for stopping by here. Really appreciate it. If you're returning, oh my goodness, you guys are amazing, amazing, amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for always being here every Friday. It's another Friday. It's another Friday. This Friday, actually, I've got a feeling of, yeah, I'm just quite pleased. A few things I've been able to do a few more things this Friday. So I am quite pleased. And I've got that feeling like, yes, let all the papers flow, really. I'll find a clip that actually does describe how I feel and pop it here for you to see, really. So it's Friday. Yeah, it's Friday. It's another Friday. Thank you everyone for always coming here. It's always lovely to be here every Friday. This Friday I'll be very brief, really. Thank you for all the comments last week. A brief chat this Friday. I will be very brief this Friday. What I wanted to chat about this Friday is grants for individuals. If you are grants, really something to support your income, to boost your income. That's what I thought about chatting about today. There are so many grants actually, and especially in the year of the pandemic, that was 2020. There were loads more grants, and a lot of people didn't really get to know about them. A lot of people could have benefited and they didn't know about this grant. So I thought, oh, actually I will chat about grants today. So yes, as I said, my chat today will be about grants. So if you're struggling, or if you're on low income, or if you're a student, and if you're looking to get some cash that can just make things actually a little bit more stable for you, grants are things that you can use. Grants are very helpful. Grants could be in form of cash, and they could be vouchers, and they generally do help to subsidize your income. And also grants, the good thing about them is most grants actually are not, you don't have to pay them back. So that's one of the good things about grants, and that's why most people would actually prefer to get a grant, because you don't have to pay back a grant. So I'm going to start from one of the simplest ones that most people will probably know about. Is for international students, and I wanted to touch on this because someone said to me that I've never really talked about anything that helps students, really. But to be honest, most of the things are quite general. They would help anyone, but for international students, I wanted to touch on the exceptional hardship grant. Last year, really, a lot of students were stuck in different countries and couldn't go home, and some of them had exhausted their allowance, the sponsorship grants, whatever they depend on, really. But there is this exceptional hardship grant. It varies from uni to uni, so you would have to speak to your own uni to actually find out a bit more about whether you are eligible or not, really. But there is, I remember my uni was about £500, I think, and you can only possibly claim it only once within the duration of your study, really. You can only claim the exceptional hardship grant, really. And mostly what they required in my own uni at that time was proof that you were a student, which was your ID card. Yeah, that was just it, really, and you could apply for it. So international students can apply for that exceptional hardship grant, and as I say, every uni, it varies, the application process varies from uni to uni. You will possibly have to speak to the admin office to find out what the process is in your own uni. So that's the first one. That's pretty much for students. So yeah, the second one to mention, really, is quite broad. Most charities actually in your community, wherever you live, would actually do grants. Most charities in your community would offer a sort of grant. It might not be, if you're looking to possibly purchase something, it might not be the full amount, but they would offer a certain amount to help you towards the cost of that item. Most charities would help people towards the cost of white goods, towards the cost of furniture. So you do have to check in the area that you live in if there's any grant. And also one good tool, I will leave the website details here, and I'll leave it in the description. It's Turn to Us. Is a good tool. You can actually search based on postcode and your age, a few things, you put it in there. You can actually search grants that are available or that might be available to you. And also, I have to mention at this point that applying for a grant does not necessarily guarantee your acceptance for that grant. A lot of this grant, there are loads of people applying for it. Really, they would look at everyone's circumstance and see who needs it more. This is how it works, really. So it's not guaranteed that you're going to get the grant because you've applied. And then there's possibly a long waiting period, not so long, but a bit of a waiting period if you apply for a grant. So bear that in mind. It's not, if you need the money or the payment for tomorrow, you cannot really apply today. You would have to apply well in advance for the grant. So most charities where you live will do grants. And as I said, there's a website called Turn to Us, TURN2US, and I will leave the details here if you wanted to do a search to see what grants are available to you personally, really. And really, most of these grants are available to people on low income. Different charities would define people on low income have differently, really. Most people on low income will be people on benefit. People on universal credit, they will be classed as low income, really. Also, aside from universal credit, there are other things that they use. In this year of the pandemic, there's been so many grants actually that's been opened, even grants that are not eligible, that people that are on benefit are not, people on benefit were not eligible for. The British Red Cross opened a grant back in I think January of this year. Really, is closing. It would have closed by the time you see this recording, because it closes on the 30th. Really, they opened this grant only predominantly to people who have no recourse to public funds, so people who are not allowed to claim benefit. This grant was open to them, and what they did was that they would pay for your food, for your shopping, food and clothing shopping. They would send you a card. It was like a prepayment card, really, for the cost of about 3 to 6 months. And some people were just a month. They assessed everybody based on their individual needs. But to be honest, I do know not a few, quite a handful of people that I recommended to that grant, and they got the grant, really, and they got help for about a month to about 6 months, really. It's a really decent, and for the first time I was really pleased about that grant. It's a really decent grant, and seeing a grant come up, really, to address the needs of people that are not allowed to claim benefit. It was a step in the right direction, and I was really pleased about that, really. So Red Cross is British Red Cross is one of the charities that I'm actually really pleased that they exist. They look at a lot of things, really. They're not really for one-sided. They look at a lot of things. So if you ever need help, also that's one charity to get in touch with. They're very so the next one I wanted to talk about was 3H Fund, and these are grants for adults and children who are disabled. 3H Fund, I will leave the link to their website as well here and in the description box. So if you know of any adult or any child that's who has a physical or mental disability, really, they can get a grant from this charity, really, from these funds, to actually go on holiday, and they can go along with their family, their carers, really. So it's a really decent grant. But you do also, really, it's restricted to people who have a certain disability, really. So that's 3H funds. So if you also need grants for home improvement, I know that there was a grant, I think it just finished in April, Green Homes Energy Grant, something like that, where they were helping the government. This was a government grant, really, and it gave a voucher of about £5,000, really, for people to actually make their home more energy efficient. If you are and this was good because it was open to everyone. So if you had an income, you get £5,000. If you're on benefit, you could get up to £10,000 to actually improve the energy efficiency of your home. There were no strict criteria, apart from what a few people found out was that the work they needed to do to make their home more energy efficient was more than £5,000. In some cases, some people, it was just a little bit more than £5,000. So a lot of people did benefit from that Green Homes Energy Grant. I'm not sure if it's still open, but I will try and have a look, but I don't think it's opened anymore, really. Also, it's worth mentioning that there is on utility, most especially your gas, electric and water bill, really. There's quite a lot of discount out there. You just need to speak to your energy company if you are struggling to pay your gas and electric or water bill. I have to mention here that gas, electric and water are actually priority debts, really. If you do not make payment on this debt, most people always think is the other way around. They think that credit cards are priority debts. Really, they are not priority debts. Credit cards, you might still be able to get away with not paying a credit card or a loan for a long time, really. But with gas, electric and water, they are priority debts. If you do not pay them, there are consequences. You could be taken to court, and bailiffs could come to your property. It's a messy situation. So as soon as you think that you're not able to afford your gas and electric, it's best to be speaking to your supplier, really. There are different things they have in place. A lot of them have to explore all the options they have in place before they actually put you through a system that's not really going to work for you. They have to explore a lot of things. So really speak to them first. You can always set up a payment plan. If you don't have to make the full payment, really. They all have to explore that with you, really, depending on what your income and expenses look like, really. They have to explore that with you before they try and maybe get another company involved, really. But yes, they are priority debts. Most of the companies, the energy companies as well, a lot of them have help if you wanted to buy white goods. If you're looking to buy like a dishwasher, I think a washing machine, a cooker, a gas cooker, quite a lot of them would have grants. If you want, I know British Gas is open to anybody. You could be a customer with any energy company. You can still apply for their grant, but most of them are specifically for their own customers, like OVO, EDF. I think EDF, a few people that are not their customers could apply as well. But yes, but check with them. I know Scottish Power as well has they have this thing called Scottish Power Hardship Fund, really. So if you're struggling to pay the bills, I have seen in quite a few cases where they've written off the debts, really, for their clients before they've written off the money that people owe, really. Not just British Gas, not just Scottish Power, actually. British Gas has done it as well. So you do have to just make sure that you present yourself to the suppliers, let them know what's going on, really. And because I've had instances where people would say that I called them, they were not very helpful. If you speak to someone for the first time and you feel that person wasn't very helpful, some of them are not quite knowledgeable. You can try again another time, and when you get to speak to someone that's knowledgeable, I believe that you would get the right result, really. There's a lot of help available out there, really. So try and do that first. Also, with regards to grant, I wanted to talk about phone and broadband bill. This is not a grant. This one I want to talk about. There's something called, it's not advertised publicly. It's called a BT basic package, really. So this is for people on low income, people who actually are on low income. Again, their definition of low income, I'm not sure. Maybe I'm not sure really what their definition of low income is. Maybe I should be looking into that. But there are different things they assess to actually figure out if someone's on low income, really. So this British Gas, not British Gas, this BT, British Telecoms phone and broadband package is only £5 a month. It's a basic package. But if you're a receipt of if you get income-based ESA, income-based GSA, you will qualify. If you get pension credit or universal credit as well, you would qualify. It's not advertised, as I said, and the package is you get free calls. The packet, you can look on their website. I'll put the details of their website on there. It's cheap broadband, really, and I believe I might just read it out because I'm looking at a bit of it here. The package includes a £1.50 worth of calls to landline and free weekend calls to 0845 numbers and 0870 numbers up to 60 minutes. However, normal landline calls cost 12p a minute. Nobody calls anyway on the landline, so that's good. The tariff lets you make and receive calls as well as stopping certain calls being made, e.g. mobile and premium rate calls. So that's on the phone. If you need broadband as well, you can get a basic broadband package, which is £9.95 monthly, including the line rental, and you get 12 gigabytes on there. So including the line rental, that's £9.95 really. And this was really helpful to a lot of people, especially during the pandemic. People that would normally top up their phones to use and go to the library to use the internet, this was really helpful to them because most things were just online really. But if you think you know somebody that would be interested in this, get them to look at the BT. There is a contact number for it. I'm not going to read out the contact number. It's not advertised publicly, but it's on their website. Information about it, BT basic package, is on their website. They have never I have known about it for about 7 years. They've never advertised it publicly, but it's on their website. Yes, so there are also other cheaper broadbands which you can explore if you go to a comparison website, but that's the cheapest one that I know really. Yes, so yes, so as I said, there are so many in addition really, there's so many local councils have so many schemes going. So if you think that you're in a bit of a situation, speak to your local council first, see if there's anything available for you. There are so many charities, in fact companies as well, that now actually take up that responsibility and looking for people to help from time to time. So speak to a charity. Look at this website called Turn to Us. There is a lot of help available there. Yes, but everybody has different things that they would expect. They have different criterias, yeah, for you to be eligible really. So that's what I thought I'll talk about today really. I'll talk about grants really, and as I said, the one for the students really is it's quite easy to get, but every uni has different things they're looking for really, but that one's quite easy to get. So if you're a student out there and you're struggling, speak to your uni. It's called Exceptional Hardship Fund. Anyway, that's all my chat for today really. Thank you so much everyone. If there's anything else that you would like me to discuss really, if there's anything that you would like me to touch on or brush on, there are so many topics that I've got, but some of them are quite lengthy and I feel that it's not yet time. The chat channel itself is not going to have conversations that will be so long really. Really lovely week. It's going to be a wet week this week, but I hope you all make the most of it really, indoors, yeah. But anyway, I'll see you next time. Thank you so much. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Share this video with a friend. If you know somebody that might be interested in getting a grant really, share this video with them. They can go to that website, put in their details and find a grant that would be suited to their own specific needs. Anyway, I'll see you next week. Have a lovely weekend. God bless. Bye.